Jenny's in training.
All
right, call the meeting to order, 1 o'clock, according to the clock on the wall. We'll start with the Volunteer Pension Board meeting, and in your packet were the February 21 meeting minutes. So I'd ask for a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. Any questions or discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. And we have a volunteer separation.
Yes, good afternoon, board. We do ask for an action on separating one volunteer. Her name is Rachel Davison. She was part of our Rehab 70 group, and she joined our department in 2016 and started out pretty active, and such time since then has pretty much just run out of time with family and work and that. So she's requested to separate from the department as volunteer.
You okay, Andy?
Okay, we're back.
Back, he's back.
I'm back.
Excuse me, you're not retiring, you're back?
No.
Not bad.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Any questions of the chief? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, separation is approved. Anything else before the pension board meeting? If not, we will adjourn that meeting. I'll call the regular North Lockton monthly meeting to order. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll have the roll call starting up, all right?
Joe Newchester.
Jason Vanderbeek,
John Crawford.
Bruce Ansel.
Rich Boston.
Larry McPhail.
Dean Berkeley.
Henry Hollander.
Okay. Do we have any public comments sign up? Okay. We'll go right to the consent agenda. It's going to be a fairly busy meeting, I expect. I'm just giving you a heads up. We're probably going to have a 45-minute executive session toward the end. We'll have some stuff to cover, so we'll try to move right along. The consent agenda you had, and you've had time to look at. And anybody have anything they want to pull out or discuss from the consent agenda?
No.
John, anything? Bruce?
I just have a couple questions, but nothing that will keep us from approving. Some clarification on some stuff.
Do you want to do that now?
Sure, why not? And I don't see it in our packet. We had talked about a 5-year mitigation fee spreadsheet information, and I know that we made approved an amount to be put towards the ladder truck, but I was curious if that spreadsheet ever got created or it's somewhere.
We did create that, and it went through our legal, and just to verify that what we were asking for was actually within the mitigation boundaries, and it is still available. If you would like, I can get that forward too.
I'd like to see it, yes. And then, did we write a letter to bias, or did we determine that that was not necessary?
Yeah, and I was thinking we might talk about that in executive session.
Okay. And then on our response into Bellingham from Station 12, do we have any statistics on how often and how far we're going into Bellingham?
I don't have any statistics on how often. I'd say it's definitely an increase. And how far, I couldn't give you the physical boundaries, but we've already identified with Bellingham that it's too far. And, I have a meeting set up on the 17th to correct that.
Thank you. Maybe, it would be kinda nice to maybe, get a before and after call volume and how many times we are going into, Bellingham now, and maybe vice versa. I mean, I know that we're on their border, and it's, sometimes there's an opportunity to overuse our resource because we're now the closest unit, and I just kinda wanna keep an eye on that and see how that's working out.
Is that something that, would be feasible to have in your report?
Yes, that's what I was just thinking.
Next month?
Yeah,
That'd be great.
that would be good. And then, you know, the new format for the run statistics that you included this time was interesting. I don't know if we all need that much information. I don't know what the rest of you thought about, you know, the type of calls and all of that. I mean, it's great information. I don't know that we're digging that deep into the woods here. And then my past history has been on your total loss percentages stuff. I kinda had a hard time following those. It's usually, dollar loss per value, not, and maybe I'm reading it wrong. Let me see if I can tab it up to your report here.
Page 5, maybe.
Total loss percent of total. And I guess in reading that, that's the total loss percent of the loss for that month, right? Not necessarily, value lost versus total value of the property. Which I think in the past, that's sort of the report we got, is basically percent saved, the percent lost of total value, not necessarily of the total losses.
Okay.
Or, you know, I think the other, standard is, confined fire to room of origin type stuff. If we have fires, I think that's a lot of how, statistics and how effective we're being, are monitored. So, I mean, like I said, this is a lot of information. I don't know if the rest of you are interested in seeing.
So I can tell you that we're,
detail.
Jenny and I are hot and heavy into the report writing. And with ImageTrend, that's the next step we're at right now. We just finished another class yesterday, and ImageTrend is actually sending out a representative next month. So it's gonna take us a few months to really fine tune these reports. All the data is there. There's not a single piece of data that we collect that we can't run a report on. It's just figuring out how to get that data. And so, all the fire districts are having the same problem. They're all in the same group. And so.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I'm just thinking, the less that you guys, I mean.
Once we have it set up, it's just a matter of clicking a button and it'll run that specific report, but we have to design that specific report.
Sure.
So we have to take a bunch of canned reports and modify them, and that's kind of what the training that Jenny is going through right now. So,
Perfect.
just bear with us, I ask maybe a couple more months.
Until May. June 1st, we'll have it. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for the information. I'm not trying to be critical. It's just like, I don't know that we need to get that far in the weeds, but, again, thanks for providing that. And then Henry, one question for you about the alarm monitoring.
Yep.
There's a comment in here about no charge for the installation.
So I came to you in January and asked you for, I think, $14,000 to upgrade all the auto dialers because the landline phones that we had for the last 30 years were no longer working. I went to our vendor that we had for 35 years. He said this is what it costs, and so I came to you, you approved it. Things just went slower and slower and slower, and I was getting more frustrated. So I happened to be talking to Alan here at the high school, the maintenance guy, and he said he uses a different company. He doesn't have any problems. So I called a different vendor who gave me a different price and said, you know, basically we don't charge for the equipment that we would put in. So I immediately called our vendor back and said, you know, I'm kind of stuck in a rock and a hard spot here, you know. Your competition isn't charging and you are. And Jamie said, give me 15 minutes, I'll call you right back. And he called back 15 minutes later and said, we'll match their deal. And we've been with them as long as I've been here. So, you know, I hate to switch vendors. So I guess I need to come back to you now and ask you to disapprove that $14,000. So they're actually in the process, I can tell you, because I get called every morning at 2 o'clock during the installation process right now, because they're still trying to make all the different hookups at all the different stations. So yes, it is all going to get upgraded. There will be some minor charges for just some electrical outlet work, but no charges for the equipment.
Well, I think, didn't we approve like up to 14, or did we say exactly that figure, or
I think I requested $14,000.
So we could amend that based on further information.
when it's done?
Yeah, I don't know. I never asked for money they didn't spend it. I don't know how that works, actually.
It's new territory.
Brand new territory for me, yeah. So they're all, and the 3 stations in District 4, they're also doing at the same cost. And they approved the motion to move forward on that for their district. So I guess it's good news that we saved ourselves some money.
Yeah.
And another week or 2, we should have them all up and running.
Perfect, thank you.
Anything else?
No,
Okay. All right, I'll just read through the amounts here as we normally do. Employee direct deposit payroll amount is $269,487.27. Non-direct payroll is $110.36. Benefits voucher $180,860.22. Monthly expense vouchers $81,797.62. Capital facilities voucher $12,627.33. And capital facilities voucher.
2022.
The difference between D and
There's 2 of them. 2 separate vouchers.
just two separate vouchers on the same budget line.
2 different projects.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously. Commissioner meeting reports.
It was between Bruce and I, and fortunately Bruce did attend.
Bruce is the meeting guy.
I'm the meeting guy. Just get tired of hearing from me. Blaine City Council, I went because there was this Healthcare Decisions Day proclamation. I was curious to see what it was. Basically, a proclamation from the mayor that is urging people to recognize April 16th as an advanced care planning reminder. So I thought, since we go to a lot of people's houses and probably have to deal with these issues routinely, where people don't have advance directives, which puts our people at a little bit of a disadvantage when they're trying to make decisions with the family or the patient can't tell them what their decision is. So anyway, it was more of just an awareness that probably only 25% or less people have advanced health care documents, and it would be nice if the other thing is, I don't know if this is going to impact the Birch Bay area or Simiamu, but the Lummi are doing a canoe trip, and that's going to be July 24th to 28th. And I think they're coming down from Canada. I know one year they ended up in Birch Bay for a while, so sounds like there's going to be a lot of canoes on the water, and it's probably something we ought to at least find out what the route's going to be and pay attention to whether anyone's going to have to go swimming that day or not. Yeah, Hughes Avenue, I guess, has finally got funding. Oh, the other interesting thing was they applied for some federal reimbursement, and much to their surprise, got funding, they don't know when they're gonna get it, to totally rebuild the road on Simeon Spit. They were hoping they would drop a few boulders to block the waves, and it sounds like the grant would cover a complete rebuild of that road, so we'll see if the money will come. Item 2 was the Whatcom Fire Commissioners meeting I attended. It sounds like all of the commissioners' bills that are before the legislature are moving forward. The all-risk MOB bill, the sales tax exemption bill, there were, I think, 2 or 3 others, and Larry Hickey said that they had all moved through without any opposition, and the next cutoff date is April 9th. Chief Newbold retired last Friday. Bill Hewitt is going to take over his position. Chief Ralston talked about the countywide communications issues. I guess you guys will all get the minutes on this, but they're going to hire a manager. Apparently, we're one of the few or only counties in the state that doesn't have a countywide communications manager. John Gargot is lead on this, and it's supposed to take about 3 years. The Whatcom report, apparently that's an issue between police and fire, and there was some questions as to whether it would be a combined dispatch or separate, or one with a backup, and would dispatchers be trained to do both, or just police, or just fire, et cetera, et cetera. Our neighboring commissioner, Mary Beth Neal, got extreme kudos for standing up and representing fire. So the room was pretty much filled with police representation, and there wasn't a whole lot of fire there. And it was clear that she was the voice for the fire service, and maybe opened some eyes and said, look, you guys are moving forward saying everything's done, and we've got some issues here on the fire side that haven't been addressed. So kudos to her for kind of standing before the gauntlet and voicing fires. Actually met Mike Hilly, the EMS
Coordinator.
levy coordinator. Actually know him, he was a medic in Redmond when I was working in Bellevue, so I called him. I know you. Nice guy. He says that with the GEMT money, the revenue for the levy is healthy, and he's looking to build some reserves for that. And I guess the new levy is coming up in 2021 already, and the goal is to have that run at 29 cents, which I believe that's what it currently is at. I think you can go up to 50, but I think they ran it at somewhere between 27 and 29, and he thinks that they can hold the line at 29 cents, which is a lot easier to sell when you go out to the vote. And then as far as us commissioners are concerned, there's money in the Whatcom County pot for training. So they asked you or whoever may go if there's any sort of training or seminars that we would like to see put on at those regular meetings. Bring someone in to give us some local training on any subject, but they asked if we had any ideas to forward those through and they have the money to pay for some of the time, so, got any thoughts on that?
When would that that would be during the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so as part of a meeting or something, they would bring in an expert,
Oh,
like maybe an attorney.
yeah. How long does the levy run? Was that a 6-year levy or a 4-year?
What?
Oh, for the EMS? I can't remember.
6?
6? Okay, and it comes up in 23?
2021.
Oh, 21, wow.
I know, I went,
That
go
fast.
fast.
That's
I don't-
fast.
It seems, yeah, seems.
It took a couple of years to get everything going, so the first 2 years, we didn't see much.
Yeah.
You know, they get Mike Healy hired and all those, get the programs set up, and then, so it's really only been in effect for 2 years, but the first 2 years we didn't see, because that was the building phase.
And then lastly, I met with Chief Ralston, regarding RFAs, and had a very nice discussion with him. He offered, to be available for any questions. I think the key takeaways at this point is, it's a long process. 2 to 3 years, probably 3 years is a reasonable timeline, and getting the committees established, and then paring down the big committee to a smaller committee to do a little bit more of the work, so you don't have 15, 20 people in the room trying to interject all of their ideas, having a smaller committee to bring that back. So I will keep calling people. I think I have one more person on my list of whom to call. I think Snow One's one with you. Brian? Brad Redding. I need to give him a call and talk to him about that. So slowly gathering more information. I would encourage you all to peruse your RFA guidebook. It is a little dated. I think this was written in 04 originally. I don't know that the laws have changed significantly, but
They changed. Yeah, and significantly in some respects, so.
okay, well, maybe we can find an updated version.
Are there updates to the manual, do you know?
If that's the one I'm thinking of,
This was the chiefs and
no,
the state council.
I don't think there have been. Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I got that right off the website.
Right. I mean, it's worthwhile to get a background as to the process, but as far as the RCWs go, has that been the major changes?
I would encourage you to read through that. I think it is good background. I'm just saying that there are some, the law has gone through an evolution. There have been some significant changes since that time. That'll give you a good foundation.
So, read with caution. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you very much, Bruce. Sorry we had to dump all the meetings on you this month. You can get us back later.
Who's going, am I going, or is John? Which of us goes for the next? John should be, I'll be the alternate. I like being an alternate.
Okay, we're up to report from the local. How much time you need?
Not today.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Legal issues.
The only one that I have, Commissioners, is we received just a few days ago, it involves District 4 mitigation agreement for an annexation that was approved on December 11th, 2017 by the City Council. And so they sent us a mitigation agreement which involves some payments over the next 3 years. I haven't had a chance to really look at it yet, but that should be something that we'll have. It's really going to District 4, but
Unfinished business. We've talked about station alarms. Anything more on that?
Nothing additional on station one.
We have discussion of the master plan.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to just bring this back up again on unfinished business today and just refresh the board's memory on what we did last year for planning for putting together some budgets for a master plan process for 2019. The funds are there, it was budgeted to do in 2019. And maybe for discussion, see what the board's ideas might be to pursue that. And adding things like mergers and consolidations into the technical master plan since the RFA discussions have begun. But there are things within the 21 district that just continue to get old, buildings and apparatus and all those types of things. And I think that 2019 would be a timely process to start looking at a master plan to see maybe what direction would be the best way to go in the future for us. And lots of those things. All those things that I discussed. Just want to bring it back to your attention.
So this was the budget request to hire an outside agency to come in.
That's correct. One of those being the ESCI.
Right.
Yeah. And you set aside $50,000 in the 2019 budget to hire a company like that, a consulting firm, to develop a master plan for us. And it's about a 6-month process. It's pretty lengthy. So if the board did decide to go that way, any time would be a good time to start.
We had planned on 2019 for that.
That's correct. That's how it was budgeted for. Yes.
So I'm guessing the question is, how does that mesh with discussions that will probably start in August, preliminary discussions on RFA? We still want to go ahead with the master plan study.
Well, I believe they can tailor it to what the needs of the board is. So if you add in there things like RFAs or mergers and consolidations with other fire districts, they can bring that into your master plan and give you an idea of maybe the direction on what would be best to do. So in a more general sense, the specific RFA discussions might come in and get further down into the weeds and look at different things. But a general master plan for our district would be in that part of the consulting.
What say you all?
I think we need a plan. We've been talking about this since I started in 2016. And we have a nice little booklet, but I haven't been to a committee meeting yet. So I think we need to get it off the ground. And I agree. I think that knowing that we're considering an RFA, I mean, maybe in this master plan they look at it and go, that would be the silliest thing we should ever do. Or maybe in that plan they go, wow, why haven't you guys done this already? We've got aging equipment, we've got aging stations, we've got increasing population demographics, transportation issues. I mean, there's so much going on right now that is overwhelming for me, and I'm sure the administrative staff here that I mean, we budgeted the money. Let's move forward and get it going.
And Commissioner, you're exactly right. Some of the things we see on a daily basis, and I know Chief Hollander is more into this, but the aging buildings that we have out there, the apparatus maintenance, we have apparatus parked right now that are going to require more maintenance than they're really worth. And there comes a time where we have to make those decisions. Do we want to fix a rig that may not be used again, or is it time to really reevaluate and know what the district needs really are? Some of the things that we also see are like the location of the administration building, whereas it's really time to get after that and look like a plan for the future.
Okay, John or Strickland?
When we budgeted the money, we need to start making some phone calls, and I believe they can tailor it to our needs as well, so. I think it's a good idea to get an extra set of eyes coming in, that's what we need to do going forward.
Eric?
I'm just kinda curious as to what the best timing would be between RFA and master plan. It'd be nice if they could properly mesh. I don't know the answer to that. If you should start the master plan first and then halfway through it, bring the RFA in, or just let them know the RFA is a possibility. Maybe that's good enough.
Yeah, I guess at this point, it's very preliminary to even think that the RFA is gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long way down the road yet, so I guess my feeling is, the master plan could be adapted as we go along, if that comes in.
If everything were to go perfect in an RFA, we're talking 3 years from now. I mean, we need a master plan now.
Because we got stuff that's not gonna last, not gonna wait 3 years,
So I can just add a comment. If you're gonna sit down to develop an RFA with a different district, it's really nice to come with forms and say, here's what we have. Here's the district as it is today. Here's the condition of our station. This is what we're bringing to the table. And it's all been evaluated by an outside. You know, so it's not us making stuff, but this is what we really have. These are our needs. What do you have? What are your needs? And does it make sense to do an RFA? So I think it now is the right. I'm gonna put in my 2 cents while I still can. And now is actually the right time to do it. So you have that information when you sit down to do your RFA.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, yeah, so I'm along those lines.
Dean?
It makes sense, as much as I hate giving money to consultants, but listen to what Joe has to say and what Henry has to say, it does make sense in where we are with the department. I agree, we should. Maybe we can get North Washington County head office in North Washington County again.
Rich?
One thing you could do too is you could talk to District 7 about sharing the costs of a part of that. Part of that plan could be focused on the viability of an RFA and what that would mean for both districts. And perhaps you could sign an interlocal agreement with them to share the cost of that part of the plan. Think about that, but I'm sure that they could, even if District 7 wasn't interested in that, a consultant could at least devote a part of the report to whether that makes sense, the pitfalls, advantages, economies of scale, and all that kind of stuff.
So that would probably be something they would recommend or suggest after they got started.
Yeah, they're gonna need to do this plan that we're talking about, but I think once they have a better handle on where the district is, then they can make those kinds of recommendations.
And drawing District 7 in, at this point, would be preliminary, because so much hinges on their levy that got.
Yeah.
What are the steps to actually get it started?
Well, there's a couple of different choices in firms that you could go with. I can recommend a few that are the most prominent ones in the country, send them to you, and we can interview them. You can make a choice on which one you feel most comfortable. ESCI is the one that I'm most familiar with. We met those individuals in Dallas last year. They had a booth there at the FRI, so we got a chance to talk to them personally. So those are the ones I'm familiar with mostly, but there are other choices as well. So if you like, I can present you with some options, and then we can start the process.
Well, did they not sort of give us a ballpark number already?
They did presentations last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 45,000 or something like
I
that.
think that's what they started in on our budget amount.
So if you're okay with ESCI, we can just contact.
Well,
them.
maybe I would like to refresh our memories, because mine isn't so great, as to who we've seen. And I know Prothman, but they were more for the chief search, right? I don't know if Prothman does do that.
There are some others, but you could do an RFQ process and contact the ones you're interested in. There are a few more, and just compare.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be prudent for us spending that kind of money to say, we looked at these 3 companies and
here's what they had to offer, and here's their track record, and here's how often they go over budget.
I think in the interest of, openness, we should do that.
Okay.
Put out some minutes.
Maybe have that for next meeting.
Yeah.
Or instead of just in language, sorry to interrupt on this, but, when you say an RFQ means you're gonna quote it, so aren't we obligated to low bid? We would prefer to put an RFP for a request for proposal, and then we're obligated to choose the best for the district. Would that be the right terminology?
I think ordinarily you use request for qualifications. It's like you're just telling us who you've got on staff, who can do it, how quickly can they do it, how would you staff up this project? It's not, there's no price involved. It's just, here's what we can offer you. Here's the services we've done before. Here's our prior clients and similar projects that we've done. And then out of that, you make a decision on which consultant is
Out
the
of
best.
the 3 or the 4 or whatever, the one you get, or.
Right, and then you
That works.
negotiate a contract from that.
So we can go ahead and start that process?
Absolutely. I'll have it for you before next meeting.
Thank you. New business, we got a resolution, to cancel the warrant. The resolution is number 2019-02, you got it in front of you. Anything you want to say about that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, that is just simply to replace, a check that was lost in the mail.
No, that's easy enough.
I move to approve resolution 2019-02.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Self-contained breathing apparatus presentation, we've been waiting and waiting.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, just like Chief Holler just returned $14,000 to you, I'm not asking to do that at all.
Thank you.
So, I apologize for the lateness and the choppiness of what just came in the first time I've done this, so I'd ask you to grant me a little excuse this time.
No worries.
But before you today, I want to educate you a little bit on where we're at with self-contained breathing apparatus and why we're in line for need for replacement. Our current breathing apparatus were purchased with FEMA grant in 2008. Replaced the entire fleet. When we got together with District 4, we added additional models. So we currently have 114 air packs and spare bottles, so there's an extra spare for each. So the District 4 air packs will be non-compliant in July. So we're losing 33 air packs and 64 bottles in July. They've reached their service life. There's no plan for replacement. We can actually absorb that, the retirement of that equipment. The biggest thing we're gonna miss is the spare bottles, but we can do it. So after July, we'll have 81 air packs in service. So they're in service on the engines, tenders, 8 cars, ladder trucks, and the chief's rigs. We put together, before I was in this position here, a committee was formed, and the committee looked at several air packs, did what I would call a quick but exhaustive search for which was going to be the best air pack. They were offered to all the stations, all the crews were able to play with them and come up with, or answer some questions on a questionnaire. And what came up with was Scott Air Pack was identified as the winner amongst the line staff. The committee has identified the need for 44 packs. As I said, we'll have 81 in service after July. They've identified that we need the number of 44. That will allow us to outfit engines with 4, tender 63 with 4, ladder 63 with 4, and the chief's cars with 1 each. The remaining apparatus will continue to have the MSAs, the 81 remaining MSAs. They are good till 2025, so we've got some time with those. We would have to carry 2 masks, which is a little unorthodox, but there's method to the committee's madness here. If you just give me a little time. because we have those two, we would then have two styles of packs, we would be using all of the MSAs. A lot of them would go into storage. But as our MSAs are getting older, the costs of repairs are increasing. This would allow us to give us a surplus of air packs and allow us to cannibalize parts and reduce some of those expenses until we can complete actually the study that you just approved. We don't really know how many pieces of apparatus we need. We don't know if we need all the stations we've got. 44 air packs would be really, it would be a great starting point for us. And with the new standards that are coming in, we're not going to have these air packs for a little bit, and then when we went to buy up to fill out the rest of the fleet, we're not going to be dealing with a completely different standard. Everything that's coming in right now is brand new. So when we go to replace or upgrade the rest of the fleet, whatever number that ends up being, it's going to be all the same equipment. I have Kevin Byrie here with me. He's been our air pack tech for as long as I've been here, and was the chairman of the committee and compiled the data you have before you. And it's really the keeper of the numbers and the history of air packs in Whatcom County, in our district. I also want to add that in the last couple of years, we've been out for grants, SCA grants, twice, and been denied both times. So once solo and once it's a regional grant with other districts in Whatcom County, and both times we've been denied. So that was done obviously earlier, so we weren't coming up against more of a crunch time, but we're getting down there in years where we've got to come up with a plan to replace these air packs. There is a quote attached. I'll remind you, it's just a quote. I was assured by the salesman that this is a very high quote. It includes no discounts. Verbally, he told Kevin and I that this would be, we would be getting a group buy. He would be able to offer us a group buy price in 2018, but he could not give us a quote with those numbers for reasons I don't understand. But we were assured that this is not the check we write.
Should I talk to him?
We get sick Chief Hollander on, we got a couple months.
Didn't give me
The
14.
prices that he quoted here are almost retail.
Yeah, and this is walking into the store.
Right.
So,
Is there a district that has a state contract or already has an existing contract with Scott that we can piggyback and buy off of?
we have, like I said, there was just a big group buy down in King County, and we've been offered that group buy, and I have that bid spec. So
We have the bid spec, but that offer actually expired December 31st of 2018.
But like I said, verbally, he's offered to get us that price.
Okay.
Whether
Whether they
it's not in
authorize it or
writing.
not.
The reason there's a couple things with this. If you look at this quote, you'll notice that there's basically the same thing is quoted at two different prices. And the packs that are aligned with the quantity of 12 would come with two sets of straps. One of the nice things about these Scotts is that you can take all the soft parts off, throw them in the exchange after a fire, replace them with clean stuff you'd have in the station, and these can dry later. So each station would have 4 sets of extra straps of all the soft parts, so these can be properly decon as we, as cancer becomes more of a thing in the fire service. Obviously we've been hit by it here at Whatcom, and it's just one more measure that Scott's taken to keep the cabs of our apparatus cleaner. This includes rip packs. This includes really all the pieces we need. The only thing that this quote doesn't have in it is additional cost of getting our POSI check, which is part of the annual maintenance and operation of the pack. We need an additional $5,000 to get that updated. And then the port account, which is being used for fit testing, would be an additional $300. So there is, I don't have all the information for you. We just wanted to get it to you this month. This is something that's coming up. We're going to need to make a move, so I'm trying to make time for it here. I would like to offer, if you guys have questions of myself or Lieutenant Byrie,
changes in the compressors to Finley's County?
No, we do not. The reason being is that I strictly asked them to keep them at a 4.5 system instead of the 5.5 that Scott offers. You don't buy anything, you don't get any benefit with a 5.5 cylinder versus a 4,500 PSI cylinder. So all our compressors now are doing 4,500 PSI. They upgraded the District 4 compressor this year with a new storage system, a new panel for the fill station, and it's all for 4,500 PSI. So we're good to go on that. And also all the bracketing and all our apparatus will still fit the 4,500 PSI. So we're going to save costs there on the bracketing too, and our apparatus.
The overall operating costs, I mean, there's actually a monthly operating cost for our packs. They use a lot of batteries, and the Scots use significantly less amount of battery power than what our current as technology improves. Also, it sounds like Scott's done some amazing things with keeping the electronics safer, longer, and working better. So technology's advanced quite a bit, and the goal is obviously to keep our operating costs down. So.
Well, I'm very impressed with the data that you have here. You got all the testing done. Good job.
Scott's the only manufacturer that urethane seals their electronics.
On that, credit for that goes to Lieutenant Byrie and Kevin Gates and Lane Sanders. They did this.
They did those, well done, Kevin.
And the other districts around us use Scott too, not MSA, is that correct?
Some do, some are MSA. City of Linden, Fire District 18, Port Roberts, they're all switching over to Scott. There's a couple other departments, I think like Everson, maybe looking at Scott, and also South Boston Fire. There's looking at Scott. Otherwise, the routes in Porter County, for the most part, are MSAs. But which either way you go, the MSA M7s that we currently have are not compatible to the new G1s for the MSA. There's no compatibility whatsoever.
Yeah. I was always one of the concerns where if we get a big MCI, you can use other departments' gear too, so. I hear you.
Would these bottles be compatible with District 7?
As far as putting their air pack on their cylinder, a cylinder on their pack, no, but you can transfill. You have to take a step backwards here. In the 2012, I think it was 2012, for that, 2004, the new standard came out with a transfill system where every manufacturer out there has to have the same fitting. And so you can transfill and give air supply to any air pack manufacturer, it doesn't matter who it is. The 2018 standard is moving up to adding an additional system. And that's not going to come out until the end of 2019 and early 2020 is when that system will actually get out in the field. It's not out in the field yet. And that's when they're talking about the packs that we're looking at currently at the Scott. There's a 2013 standard, not the 2018 standard. Scott is going to give us a 2018 standard upgrade for all of our air packs at no cost to us. Okay, and so with that, after the 2018 standard hits towards the end of this year, early next year, there'll be an additional transfill type system. It's going to be a buddy grid is what's going to be. Did I lose you?
No, I'm just, as I'm thinking ahead with a potential merger or RFA or something like that, what happens to our two systems then?
Well, you understand the history of North Walken, correct? And all the
Bruce hasn't been here that long.
No, sorry.
Okay. With the consolidation constantly over the last 20 years, darn near. And nothing's been the same ever. And we've been slowly but surely getting everybody on the same page as departments merge. It takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. I mean, we have different apparatus, different nozzles, different hose layers, I mean, different, lots of things besides just air packs. So, that's, all that is absorbed over time.
Fair enough. Where is this money coming from, Chief?
So over the last couple of years, we've been able to put some in reserves, so you have enough cash to pay for it, in a couple of different funds. We always have the option of borrowing as well, but, my recommendation would be to just pay cash for it. We've been saving money for it.
We have that much money.
Which funds are we talking?
Well, currently we have a couple different, actually you could look at the reserve fund, which is, 72120. There's a little over $1 million in there. And then also the capital projects fund, you have $651,000 in there.
Capital. Was that, did you say capital projects? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Do you know why the grants are not coming through, or why they didn't even on that large,
FEMA doesn't tell us, but the thought is that we're too flush with cash.
When they send you that, thanks for playing letter, they never specify why you get declined. And they give you a link to a seminar that you can go to that tells you the general reasons why you get declined, but the specifics usually don't come out. So, there's two filtering processes. The first one is an electronic filtering process. If you get through that, then it goes to a peer review board. And we understand the last two times we stopped at that first electronic process. The last grant was a regional grant, and it was with the city of Bellingham, District 7, is that right, Chief Holliman?
South Walton.
South Walton.
There's a bit of in District 8 then too.
Yeah, and we got turned down as a regional grant, and then the one before that was a sole grant that we put in, and we got declined for that as well. So we tried, and for whatever reason, they said no, not gonna grant you those funds.
and what's a purchase, arrival, training timeline if we were to move forward on this?
Well, you're probably looking at midsummer. If you're to try to pull the trigger today, you're looking at midsummer for delivery.
For delivery.
Yes.
And then I'm assuming there's a training piece that goes along with
Yes,
this.
there'll be a training component.
We're gonna run up against that July deadline that was mentioned.
Well, the July deadline is when the District 4 Firehawks, their cylinders will be coming out of service, and their packs are just on the verge of not meeting the standard any longer. We've already had a couple of different changes with the NFPA standard. And so after so many changes, they no longer even make parts for the equipment. And we're pretty much there for the Firehawks from Fire District 4. The M7s, MSA M7s that Fire District 21 owns, those will continue to meet the standard for some time, but our cylinders on those just had their last hydro last year. So in actuality, in 2023, won't be any good anymore.
Is District 4 on the hook for any of this? I don't know how they're, shame on me, I don't know how that agreement contract reads. I know they pay us a significant amount of money, but is this in their sort of capital funding?
I guess I would look at it like wear and tear of regular equipment, which, it's a good question.
That is a good
You
question.
could argue it either way, I think.
Yeah, because, they've done some capital projects that were very specific to District Four. And came out of District Four copper for those types of things. That's something I think we'd have to explore really. I apologize, I don't have a good answer for you on that. That's something we can definitely look into.
Well, we're gonna meet with them next month, right?
And I guess I would remind you, this would obviously go out for a competitive bid. I mean, this isn't, we're not gonna check
No, we're not.
So it's, you know, we would give the different, companies a chance to sharpen the pencil and produce their best price.
Sure.
So,
So we could, give the verbal okay to start the process. And then in the meantime, request a report on what, if any, District Four obligations are involved in this. To report at the next meeting. And then maybe by the next meeting, we have a pretty good idea on the bids. Probably, is that a reasonable time frame?
Sounds like a good plan.
And, yeah, it would be nice to see a suggested funding mechanism. I mean, you talked about, borrowing money or paying cash or whatever, but
So funding
to
options.
see what those funding options are, what accounts we take it out of, and
Interest
if
rates too.
Henry has a buried treasure closet somewhere.
I don't have that much.
Okay, we'll have something for you next month.
Okay, so we'll leave this, we'll move this to, unfinished business for the next meeting. Thank you.
Lieutenant, thank you,
Thanks for your work.
all your work on this,
Yes, sir.
your expertise. I agree that we have a lot of HE equipment here, and these are super important, and I just wanna make sure that we get the best bang for our buck.
Absolutely.
And, so, thanks again.
Okay, anything, policies and procedures?
No policies today.
Okay, and correspondence, you had copies of. Comments or any questions on that? If not, we'll move ahead.
No, thanks, Henry, for your continued, participation with the CERT people, and, they obviously are very pleased with your assistance and crews.
Yeah, Cruz, last Saturday they had that event, and Cruz did a great job.
Thanks for doing that.
You bet.
Okay, next board meeting is the 18th. Anybody have a conflict with that date?
No, I can make that.
All right.
None at this time, so we're good.
And Commissioner, that is a combined meeting.
That's a combined meeting, so. District 4 will be here, and they'll be bringing, food and refreshments.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you, Harry.
One way or another.
I would remind you, to get your, public disclosure forms done.
Did it?
That time, you have it, you get that time frame in there, yeah.
They were good enough to send me my password. I contacted Olympia, and they jumped right on. I had my password within 5 minutes, and then it went right through. In the past, I've always done it on paper. This time I did electronic. It worked really well.
You're just getting to be a regular techie, aren't you?
I am really on top of it.
All right.
Program on computers and cars.
Rich, I've got
Must be so powerful.
a couple announcements.
You can.
If you have time, just some follow-up stuff. You know that the city of Blaine now charges impact fees instead of our mitigation fees, so I just called and got an update on where we are for this year. And so far for January and February, we're at $16,000 from the city of Blaine. And they cut their checks quarterly, so we will get, at the end of this month, early April, we'll get that plus whatever new projects were permitted in April, and there's a lot of building going on in April, right, in the city of Blaine. So we have that going on. The sign that you requested for the Wacom Lawns, gentlemen, you put in the front yard has been ordered.
Great.
I was hoping to have it here. Did not make that. Sorry about that. The septic system at 69, we've completed the design and we've done the test holes, and we paid for the permit this week. So now we're waiting for a permit review and the inspector to come out. When all that is approved, then we will go out to bid for that and try to nail down a contractor for late August, early September, when that ground is as dry as it can be, because we have to drive around the building with a lot of sand. So far that is moving along. 9/11 committee's moving right along. This is a weird year because 9/11 falls on a Wednesday. It was hard to plan things on the weekends. So looking at some different options there. And then lastly, the Teen Healthy Coalition group, remember you heard a couple months ago, and we're supporting his rodeo. They hosted a suicide prevention program that Jenny and I attended out at Semiahmoo. Pretty interesting overview. And they have another, you said they have another class going today, right? Kind of
Yeah,
lower in the
all day.
weeks, how to identify folks that are having suicide issues at the peer level. So that was just a couple updates on some of the stuff.
Thank you. Okay, agenda items for next meeting. Everything normal, except we want to make sure the master plan stays up there. Anything else for next meeting?
Mitigation spreadsheet, or what we call it, impact fee.
Yeah, that's done. It's just a matter of printing it up.
Okay. Thanks for the telebox stuff.
Yeah, that was some pre-printed material that CAS was able to get to us. I believe that the new cards have gone out, the new health cards, so I think most of the members are getting with the teledoc option.
I know it just me.
Okay, we're gonna go to executive session, as per RCW 423110 subsection G. The qualifications of applicant, employment or review, performance of public employee. We've got things we're gonna do again, I would guess.
And potential litigation.
And potential litigation. Thank you. And I would guess it's gonna be 45 minutes, so we'll shoot for 2:45, and it's longer, quicker than that, we'll not let people know. Now go in executive session.
I expect any action on that.
I